Hello, I am Russ Reyes from Kilt Cork, and we are down here in Sutter Creek today. I'll tell you where we're at here in a second, but it's kind of exciting to be down in such a cool, historic little town as Sutter Creek because it's so decorated right now outside, lights, and it's really a perfect evening to be down here wine tasting. So I'm really excited to be down here to talk to you guys about where we're at. Which we are at Mulet Rouge. I'm sure you can see on our bottles. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. So before we get started in that, though, I just wanted to thank everybody who tuned in last week to watch the show that was all about me. It was truly a risk to do something like that and talk more about my personal life and about my history. But I get so many questions about, are you Scottish? Or, what is it? Where's the kilt come from? That kind of stuff. I thought it would be appropriate to just tell a little bit of the backstory. Of course, there's more to it, but at least now you know, yes, there is a little bit of Scot in me from my mom's side. And again, I appreciate all the support and all the positive comments I got last week for the show. It just really helps me feel like this is kind of what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm supposed to be sharing all these amazing places and turning you on to these great wines and people and stories that just cover the Sierra foothills. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. So now I think it's a great segue to tell you we are here at Mulet Rouge, which translates to the Red Mule, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a great tasting room down here in Sutter Creek. Now there is a winery and vineyards, but I'll let our hostess tell you about that here in a second. But this tasting room, it's right on Main Street, and it's one of a handful. I think there's about a dozen tasting rooms on here. And just to kind of tease something coming up in January, we're going to be back here at Mulet Rouge, but we're going to be talking to Wine on 49. And you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. And they are a loose association of tasting rooms here in Sutter Creek that want to welcome you to this area and taste all the amazing wines that are produced here in Amador from these wineries that are here. And it's a great thing. So we're going to talk to them at an upcoming show. But for right now, we're going to talk to our hostess, Tamara Underhill Richards. Thank you so much. Where's your wine? I want to toast you. There's hardly anything in there. So Tamara and I have a history that goes back a little bit, a few years. And it's always a pleasure to see her. It's great.
And welcome.
Thank you. Just to tell everyone kind of how we met, it was Facebook. First of all, it was Facebook. So I met her through Facebook. How many people out there can say that? Probably a lot. And it was I'm in a group. As you can't see my kilt, but I'm wearing a kilt, aren't I?
He is wearing
a kilt. I'm wearing my black watch kilt tonight. And she challenged me and my buddies who happen to wear kilts a lot to make a calendar. And see if we would all pose for a calendar to raise money for a great organization up in Placerville called the Center for Violence-Free Relationships. And we did. And so that's how I met Tamara. She was the brainstorm behind that. But now she's got this amazing life down here in Sutter Creek.
I do.
Working at Mulet Rouge. I'm saying that correctly?
Yes, Mulet Rouge means the Red Mule in French, and our winery is up on Red Mule Road in Fiddletown, and we grow French varietals, Syrah, Viognier, Sauvignon Blanc, and Cab. And so the name is a great extension of what we do. And then all of the other grapes that we purchase from friends and neighbors up in Fiddletown go into the other wines that we make. So right now we're drinking a little bit of everything. I have our Liberté, which is a Cab Syrah estate blend.
Nice.
And you are drinking our Trois Amis, which is our GMS blend.
Very good. It's delicious. So this winery, this tasting room, it's got a great story as far as the Trois Amis, which you're going to talk about here in a second. I did want to, again, welcome you to the show. I'm Russ Reyes from Kilt Cork, and this is Tamara Underhill Richards from Mulet Rouge. And we've got some people saying hi to you. So Michael House said hi, and Debbie says hi. And we've got Jeremy Marin, the existential wine guy out there saying hi. Of course, I just mentioned Deb from About Town Deb. So got some fans out there.
Hi, Deb.
So anyways, tell us a little bit about the three friends, the Trois Amis, who are behind this place?
So our three owners moved here from Denver in 2014 because they fell in love with this area and they found a vineyard and a winery to purchase, and have been making delicious and award-winning wines ever since. The Toisonne blend is a direct reference to their three friendships that they have. It's also three different vineyards and three different grapes. So we purchased the grapes, with the exception of the Syrah, which is ours, from our friends and neighbors that grow grapes up in Fiddletown. So super exciting. So the Grenache comes from a private vineyard up in Fiddletown. They're personal friends of Randy, Tracy, and Jody. The Mourvedre comes, yeah, those are the three friends. The Mourvedre comes from Karine over at Wine Tree Farms here off of 49, and the Syrah belongs to us. The three friends idea came from the fact that the wines are three friends blended together. It's a beautiful blend. It's very light. It's delicious. The three vineyards were friends with all of those vineyard owners. And then our three friends that own the winery and make the wine together. It's really fun. I had the pleasure of naming this wine, which is really cool. We were looking for something fun to name it. And I said, well, Three Amigos is not very French.
That's true.
But Toisonne is.
So I have a confession. I was actually drinking Zed Red. So I don't have the Toisonne in here. So
let me tell you about Zed Red.
Zed Red was what I was just drinking.
Zed Red is 60% Zin, 35% Barbera, 5% Petite Syrah. So it's Amador County in a glass.
Very cool. All right. So there's some really interesting wines here, and they're all delicious, I have to say. We're going to talk about a couple more. But this tasting room, I wish you could see all of it. You can kind of see behind us. There's some really cool features, and it's a historic building. This building was what?
This building dates back to the 1850s.
Come a little closer. I don't bite.
This building dates back to the 1850s. It was originally a butcher shop, and there are historical aspects of the building that was a butcher shop in existence today. And for instance, we have a smokehouse in the back. It serves as our electrical room now, but it is a historical, integral part of what the history was here as a butcher shop. So after a butcher shop, it was a gift shop, and then it was a bookstore. So a lot of folks locally remember this as Lizianne's Bubblegum Bookstore.
That's cool.
We acquired the building a little more than a year ago and worked on getting this tasting room open. And of course, our owners as architects have instilled this beautiful ambiance into a building that has beautiful historic bones. So
it is such a beautiful interior. You can tell that architects and interior designers were here and did all of this. So it's very cool. So we're going to talk a little bit about being here in Sutter Creek, but I'm dying to taste something. So we have a pairing. Are we going to, which one do we need to do this one first? The Toisonne with the, what are we tasting with this?
We could do a little bit of cheese if you want, or we could just taste wine and have a good time.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at something sweet over here.
Oh,
What's that for?
Oh, so these.
What's that? What are we going to do with that?
This is my my faux pas port brownie.
Okay, so we have to drink that with a faux pas.
You don't have to. You can definitely try it with the Toisonne.
Okay. I'm going to try with the Toisonne.
So the brownie actually has faux pas infused into it. It's a typical brownie mix, and any place, if you want to elevate your typical brownie mix, you take your typical brownie mix, and wherever it says add water, you put port in it, or dessert wine, or red wine, or some sweeter form of wine.
That's a great idea.
And that takes your $2 box of Betty Crocker and makes it something you can sell for $150 at a dessert auction for the local school or something along those lines.
Okay, so this is delicious. The brownie is delicious. Anything with port in it and chocolate. And if you've been watching the show for a while, you're going to see that there's a theme here of pairing wines and even beers with sweets. And that's because I love sweets and I love wine and bourbon and beer and all that other stuff. But we happen to have some great wine tonight. And this pairs excellent with this brownie.
Yes.
It's a very sweet brownie. You get a little bit of the port flavor.
Right.
But then you've got this nice, kind of well-rounded GSM. That's delicious. I love it. So, Sutter Creek, it's the jewel of the Motherlode?
So Sutter Creek is just an amazing place to be. There's so much history here, and everything revolves around this community. I have lived in Amador County since June, And I feel like this is like my home. I feel like this should have been the place I should have found in the first place. Everything in this community is so community oriented. You know, the policemen and the police chief walk the streets on a regular basis and come in and visit and say hello. There's great events here. SutterCreek.org is our local webpage that keeps you informed of a year-round calendar of things that happen here in Sutter Creek. One of the biggest things that happens here in Sutter Creek is actually happening this Saturday night. It is the Parade of Lights.
Wow.
It is something that I have been told, because I've not yet witnessed it, that have been told is like the event of the year, and anything and everything that can move or have lights put on it is in this parade. So
That
there's
sounds
a
really
school
interesting.
bus and kids on bikes and wagons and cars and trucks and tractors. So really looking forward to that. The town will be filled. It will be really fun. And I'm looking forward to that. Last weekend, we did Sutter Creek Open House, so all the businesses were open late. And then they had the Las Posadas Processional, which basically is Mary and Joseph visiting all of the local homes behind, looking for
Oh,
shelter.
that's very cool.
And then they end
Yeah,
up at a
yeah.
live nativity down the street
Yeah.
at the church. So the streets are busy and things are going on all the time here in
Right.
Sutter Creek. Perfect community to be a part of.
Very cool.
And we are in the heart of Sutter Creek, right at 59 Main.
So we want to give some hellos out there. Some other people have joined. Stacy, who you met, Stacy and I were down here a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah, so Stacy's out there saying hi. Again, I'm Russ Reyes from Kilt Cork, and I'm with Tamara Underhill Richards, a good old friend of mine who I'm so happy to be with right now. This is so fun. And we're just kind of sitting here talking about Les Mulet Rouge, about Sutter Creek, and about the great story of the owners. And we do have a question. So there's a mouse on the bottle of Zed Red. And I kind of know the story, but it's kind of a cool story.
So let's get the bottle.
So I'll get the bottle. You can tell the story about
So
the mouse.
here's the little mouse on the bottle of Zed Red. So originally, when our owners were looking at the property had been for sale for a little while, and the real estate agent was really amazing. And the owners were, Jody, Tracy, and Randy were like, "Oh, should we do it? Should we not do it? Should we do it? Should we not do it?" And Mary Jane, the real estate agent, said, "You know, the second mouse gets the cheese." And these folks were the second mouse, and understanding that there is huge meaning behind being able to do something when the moment is right, decided that that was the way to go. And so the mouse became part of our label. It's part of our story. It's part of their LLC name. It is something that has inspired them to just keep going and taking the vineyards that were, needing some work and some love, and making them into award-winning producing
Absolutely.
wine, grapes and everything. It was a huge labor of love. Our friends and family and wine club members and people who know us come and help us with harvest. We're still very, very, very small in respect to a lot of the wineries in the Amador County area. Less than 2,000 cases of production. And it's just so involving to be a part of a family. So.
Mm-hmm. That's such a cool story, and it's a great family. They're just amazing people, and it's so fun to kind of hang out with them. I'm glad we can come down here and show off their beautiful place and their story. So we do have another pairing that I'm again sweets, and I want to do this because we're going to do bubbles, right?
Yes, we're going to do bubbles.
Okay.
So let me grab that.
Grab that. Okay, so I don't know if I have the right bubbles, but so just a little more background. Les Mulet Rouge helped us with our last house party when we were down at the Provincial's house. And they came down and poured 3 different bubbles and 3 different wines, and we paired all of that with Christmas cookies. It was outstanding, I have to tell you. Having all these different Christmas cookies and your wines were just amazing. So
I got the after the effect Christmas cookies the next day.
yeah,
They were amazing.
everyone got to bring cookies home, and we met some great people at that. Those house parties, I tell you, people, it's so fun. If you have not entered to win one of those, they're amazing, and you have a captive winemaker or brewer in your house. So I encourage you to do that.
Is the key word.
It's key. They can't go. They have to pour wine for you until you're done with them. So
these beautiful cake pops are courtesy of my friend Christy Vance, who owns Muffin Top Cake and
You guys can
Cupcake Creations.
see that.
Shameless plug for Miss Christy. And the cake
So
pop is beautiful.
It is. It's substantial. I mean, This is like it's a serious cake pop right here.
And so we're going to be pairing that with the almond sparkling.
Oh, I have the wrong sparkling.
So we need to give you some almond. Here.
Oh, okay.
We're going to give you some almond. I'm going to go get another glass.
Yeah, I don't like to drink alone.
So the almond sparkling.
Okay.
And this is something that she whipped up late last night for you specifically, I have to say.
Oh, wow. And what's her name?
Christy Vance.
Christy, if you're out there watching, thank you so much for this. I can't wait to taste this. So this is amazing. Thank you very much for making these. All right, so I'm going to go into
tackle that cake pop.
sip of wine first, right? And then a cake pop. Balls are bouncing everywhere. Off the cake pop, people. Dirty minds out there, I know. I hear it. I can tell.
There's laughter.
There's laughter in the back. Okay, this is outstanding. It pairs so well with the almond.
Almond is our #1 best-selling sparkling.
Wow.
It does go with everything that's dessert-wise. So
You know, I'm a big fan of eating dessert before dinner, just because, I mean, you're not guaranteed to make it through to finish dinner, so you might as well go right to the have dessert first.
Dessert for breakfast.
Dessert for breakfast and dessert all the time. This is amazing. So I'm gonna have to finish this off camera because I want to eat all of it right now. But thank you so much for those cake pops. That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, beautiful.
So people, if you're watching this, you've never had dessert with wines like this, you definitely should try it. People always, I don't know why they don't think sweets go with wine, but I think they do.
Oh, it's perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect. And you can drink almost any red wine with chocolate. You can definitely pair something with a beautiful cheese platter with some fresh fruit and nuts and things like that.
Yeah.
So your red wines are, especially the French varietals, are very indicative to putting it together with savories and sweets. So.
Absolutely. Wow, that's so good. Well, Tamara, thank you so much. And she's going to be on camera for a few more minutes. So if you have any questions for Tamara, please ask. But I really enjoyed this. I wish we could talk more about everything. But we'll be back. We're going to be back in the 17th, right? I think it's the 17th of January. We're going to be broadcasting here with some other of the local winemakers and winery owners, talking about, again, Wine on 49. And that's your organization here that supports the wineries here in Sutter Creek. And Sutter Creek, you know, is just not wineries. There's beautiful shops, restaurants. You've got bed and breakfast.
It's quite the destination spot. Between the lodging that we have everything from a boutique spa type of stay to bed and breakfast to historic Hotel Sutter next door. Lots of things going on here with the events. We've got very nice, quaint shops. The restaurants are fantastic. Of course, we've got these 12 beautiful tasting rooms with world-class wines, and just the ambiance here is just worth coming in.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for hosting me tonight and being on the show. I really appreciate it. Hang loose right there for a second. I'm just gonna. Oh, absolutely, I love this. We have a question. I'll get to that in a second, but I did want to just really quick touch base on Kilt Cork right now. If you're following us on Instagram and Facebook, we are doing the 12 days of Christmas cocktails. That name's crazy. Molly and I have to think of a new name next year, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, Molly LaGoy, she's a blogger out of Reno who does a blog called The Hungry Dater. You don't have to be single to follow her because she talks about a lot of food, a lot of cocktails. So I highly encourage you to follow The Hungry Dater on both Facebook and Instagram. But we're doing cocktails. Today we did spiced Mexican cocoa, which was outstanding. Yeah, I love the research we had to do for that. We drank like 12 cocktails in 8 hours. So anyways, follow that on Facebook and Instagram. And then also make sure that you're following us and follow Les Mulet Rouge as well on Facebook and Instagram. Follow Kilt Cork and on Instagram, and like us on Facebook, because we are going to do another house party in January, and you can only win if you follow us and you comment. So that's the way you do that. So make sure you do that and follow. So we had a question out there. Since the holidays, what wine would you recommend taking to a party? What would you bring to guests at a party?
So we have a couple of blends that are really popular. One of them is the Zed Red that you were drinking already. It is 60% Zin, 35% Barbera, 5% Petite Syrah. It's a beautiful soft blend, really zin forward. You get a little bit of pepper of the Barbera on the finish. It's a delicious wine. Another one that's really popular with us is the Badjack Red, which is Syrah, Sangio, Malbec, Zinfandel, and a little bit of Petit Syrah. It's a little bit heartier, goes with a little bit heartier food. And then, of course, the sparklings are always a wonderful thing to take to a party. The Citron is one of my personal favorites because it's a beautiful palate cleanser in between courses.
Right.
And it's not as sweet as, say, the almond or the raspberry.
Right.
So it's a little bit brighter. It's a bright, crisp citrus flavor. So
Very good.
any kind of sparkling is always really good.
Excellent. And then final question, can people buy your wines online?
They can.
Right.
Muletrouge.com is our website. They can always call me here at the tasting room, 209-267-5838. And I'm available via email, and I just love to help people find
Excellent.
what they need. We've got some
There
of
you
our
go.
wine club members in the house right now.
Yeah.
So hi.
Guys, say hi out there.
And
We've
my
had
wine
an
some of my
audience.
wine donors are
Excellent.
here. So we are having a locals night tonight. So if you're available to come down and visit before 7:00, we'll be here.
There you go. Well, you guys, that's about all the time we have tonight, but I've really enjoyed being here at Le Mulet Rouge, talking to Tamara and catching up and just sharing this experience with you out there. So please make sure you join us next week. We are not quite sure where we will be, but we will be somewhere, and that'll wrap up our season 1 of Kilt Cork Live. And again, I just want to thank everybody out there for following us and watching us and being a part of this experience. It's been awesome. And thank people like you for supporting me and just kind of making this a really special thing. So
Anytime.
thank you.
Anytime.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
You've got something to cheers. Thank you very much for your time and for being with us. And for all of you out there, be safe tonight. And I'll talk to you before the holidays, but cheers and thank you for joining us. Cheers.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.